We finally have liftoff. NASA's Orion spacecraft has officially launched into orbit.
4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff at dawn. The dawn of Orion. And a new
the unmanned test flight blasted off as scheduled at 4:05 Pacific time this morning after being delayed by weather and other problems yesterday. NASA says Orion is the first step in a long journey that could one day take human explorers to Mars. Mission controllers are monitoring the capsule's navigation systems to make sure they're operating as expected. While the capsule swings around the planet a couple of times during its 4.5-hour journey, it's expected to land in the Pacific Ocean sometime before 9 o'clock this morning. Back here on the ground, Canada Post has announced the first Lower Mainland community to lose its door-to-door service next year as the company cuts back mail delivery right across the country. Greg Harper, live in Ladner this morning with more on that. Greg.
Good morning, Kyle. The way that residents here in this Ladner neighborhood will get their mail will change in the fall of next year. This is actually a change that's impacting close to 5,000 homes that have the zip code that starts with a V4K. What's happening here is home mail delivery is being replaced by community mailboxes. And again, this will be in effect in the fall of next year. Canada Post says there will be an opportunity for residents to give some input on the safest location for these community mailboxes. Residents will be getting information packages over the next couple of days. Canada Post says that no jobs will be lost because of this, but mail carriers won't be replaced when they retire. Canada Post announced this earlier this year. It was phasing out home mail delivery. This is a process that's expected to take 5 years, and we have some reaction that we will show you at 6:30. Kyle, some Delta residents said not happy about this change. Kyle?
Greg Harper live for us this morning. Greg, thanks for that. A Vancouver police bomb squad team had to be called into Stanley Park last night. A World War II mortar shell was discovered by someone with a metal detector near the HMCS Discovery Naval Base on Dead Man's Island. The bomb had to be x-rayed by the VPD, but they were unable to determine if it was live or not. Officers have removed the shell for further analysis. The park has since been reopened to the public. 4 charges, including attempted murder, have now been laid against the man accused of shooting an RCMP officer in Kamloops earlier this week. 36-year-old Kenneth Knutson also faces assault and firearms charges in connection with the Wednesday morning shooting. Corporal Jean Michaud remains in critical but stable condition at Royal Inland Hospital. The 40-year-old officer was shot as he approached a car he pulled over. Community support continues to pour in for the family of the injured officer. Well, legally, it's known as mischief, but some vandalism in North Vancouver is proving to be a major inconvenience for vehicle owners. The tires on more than 150 vehicles were slashed early yesterday morning. The crimes happened in a wide area from Capilano University to Park and Tilford Mall. RCMP had to ask drivers to check their cars before getting behind the wheel, while investigators continue to look for suspects.
A lot of victims, a lot of inconvenience for people who are going off to work, and now we're trying to identify who the culprit or culprits are in this. Really, it's a criminal act. Willful damage to property like this is a huge offense.
Police think they may have found blood from a vandal on one of the tires. They're also hoping surveillance footage helps with many of the tire slashings coming at commercial locations. TransLink's Mayor's Council is meeting behind closed doors today to hammer out the question for the upcoming referendum on transit funding and how to campaign for it. It's the first time 7 newly elected mayors will take part in the discussion about how to fund the region's $7.5 billion transit expansion plan. It's hoped the mayors will agree on the ballot question, the funding source and amount, so details can be put to a vote next Wednesday at a public meeting. A provincial referendum on the funding plan could take place as early as next spring.
We not only need to communicate exactly what we want and what the ballot would be like, we need to get provincial approval for this and need to get green lighted. And that we're hoping has to be done before Christmas, because we need to start, January 2nd, we need to start getting into the detailed planning for this initiation. And if we don't get at it by January, it's obviously going to be a challenge.
The Transport Minister has called the Mayor's Regional Transportation Plan, which includes a Broadway subway and light rail in Surrey, unaffordable. The opposition says it's time the province fully backed the Mayor's efforts to carry out the unpopular referendum. Some aspiring cooks have been pressed into action ahead of a big weekend feast, that is. Culinary students from Vancouver Community College are hard at work prepping food and carving turkeys. They're helping the Union Gospel Mission prepare for its early Christmas dinner on Saturday on the downtown east side.
We'll be serving over 3,000 meals, so the grocery list for that is just huge. We'll be having almost a ton and 3/4 of turkey. We have 800 pounds of mashed potatoes and vegetables, 675 cherry pies. We have 300 liters of gravy we're making, and they make it in this huge cauldron, and I tell you, it looks like they stir it with a canoe paddle. It's so big.
The UGM relies on almost 300 volunteers to serve the dinner, which it's been doing for 3/4 of a century. 6:06. Remember when everyone thought the Vancouver Canucks record was inflated by facing weak opposition? Well, it's tough to say that these days.
And Mata chases back for it with Sean Matthias in pursuit. Matthias steals out the near side, centers, Richardson scores.
It went under his arm.
Vancouver's third line looked like all-stars in Pittsburgh. Brad Richardson scored twice against the Penguins, setting up another goal by Sean Matthias. All 3 goals were created by hard work that led to turnovers in the Penguins' end. Meanwhile, Eddie Lack was solid between the pipes, making 21 saves for his 5th career shutout. The first ever shutout, in fact, for a Vancouver goalie in Pittsburgh. The Canucks win their league-best 11th road game, beating the Penguins 3-0. It's the first win for the Canucks in Steeltown, USA since 2008. Saturday is a busy day for the NHL. Here's a sample of what you'll see on Hockey Night in Canada tomorrow. The Canucks are in Toronto playing the Maple Leafs. That's at 4 p.m. Or if the Montreal Canadiens are more your thing, they're playing the Dallas Stars at 4 right here on City.